So if this is what happened in just 5 6 years, I can't imagine how it'll be in the next 5 6 years. And we started talking, and I realized he went to college here in Itanagar. I said,
Mm-hmm.
"Arey, we're from the same place then." Just one event will like help it spread like a wildfire.
Welcome to the seventh episode of Indian MMA Origin Stories, which is an interview series through which we at Locker Room try to cover the origin stories of Indian MMA gyms, fight teams, promotions, events, and whatnot. This is Ranjit Ravindran here, and in the seventh episode, we will be featuring Higio Tarak, who is the man behind Abrasumente Academy in Arunachal Pradesh. Here is his story.
So, Higio, welcome to this Indian MMA Origin series. So, how's it going there in Arunachal
Uh,
currently?
it's not that great. It's okay. I think Corona is just starting to spread, so we're going into a lockdown again next week.
Hmm.
So yeah, it's not that
Okay.
good. It's okay. We're managing.
Okay, so I'm assuming that the gyms are currently closed as well due to that.
Yeah, I mean it's not. They didn't tell us to, but because our sport is so like you have to
Hmm.
be always in contact. No, it's not safe. So we had to like close it. So we closed it over I think a week back.
Okay, cool. So, coming to Abrasumente Academy. So, we'll start with the name itself. So, from what I understand, it's taken from some Spanish proverb. So,
Yes,
what's
exactly.
the story behind your name?
Okay, so I always get asked, and then like I always find new meaning to the like I'll explain. So the thing is before I started doing MMA, I mean I started learning MMA. I was not a very calm guy, kid, whatever. So I always get like every chance I got, I would try to act macho, no, without knowing anything. And in my head, I'm like the next, I don't know, Mike Tyson, just looking for trouble. So after doing MMA, after joining MMA, it opened my mindset, and I realized like what I was doing is not something you should be doing. It's like the most stupid thing someone can do. And the worst thing is I see this what like I was in the youth today of our state, no? And that's why since MMA helped me open my mind, Abrasumente means it's taken from a Spanish proverb, Abrasumente a la realidad, which means open your eyes to reality. So it struck me, so that's why I named it Abrasumente Academy, because I wanted the people from my state, like the ones that I see myself in, to go through the same changes that I went through, to experience what it really is. So that's why I wanted to open their eyes, their mind. That's why I took the name Abrasumente Academy.
Did you have any other names in mind before you came across this proverb?
Actually, no. So there was this song. Abrasumente is also a song, you can Google it. It was one of my favorite songs. So I think even before I started learning MMA, so it always had that soft spot in my heart. So once I realized that this is what I'll be going to do for the rest of my life, so I don't know. It all just made sense suddenly.
Cool. So, how did your journey in combat sports start? Like you told that you have been into a lot of trouble before starting MMA. So, how was that transition, or how did you discover MMA?
So my journey started with me and my elder brother. We used to watch UFC fights on DVDs, you know. So like that was how we used to bond, just watching fights and enjoying. And then he would always like try to get me involved, but since there was no infrastructure here, he would give me gifts like gloves and a punching bag and stuff, no. So he always gift me all that. So that's why I started like doing on my own. So it doesn't make sense anymore. So that's how I started learning. I mean, learning. But then I remember once one brother he called me up and he told me he's going to Crosstrain Delhi. Like he wanted to go, and I was like, "Take me along. I want to try. I want to learn as well." No? So and then we both went, and then I got my ass handed to me by a small kid. And that's when I realized what I was doing was whatever I was doing was not anything. So that's how my journey started. Crosstrain Fight Club in Delhi. That's how it started.
Okay, so did you continue in cross train after taking that trial class? Like, how did
Yeah.
that progress?
I did. So yeah, I just because like I wanted to be able to do what that guy did to me. So I kept going. Like I think I used to go twice a week in the starting because my college was like an hour or two away. So only weekends I would come train and I would leave. So I think I didn't even realize when I started progressing. It was never like it was the only thing I would look forward to in the whole week. That was the only thing I looked forward to. So I didn't realize how like I never really thought I would get into it that like how I am right now. So yeah, it all just I'm saying it all just happened. I didn't realize.
Okay. So did your decision to compete also like come with the flow, or was that something that you purposely took up?
Yeah, so yeah, I mean, I always wanted to compete, but like I never really got the chance to. I think for the first 3 4 months. But then our gym Crosstrain was having an in-house competition. So I asked Coach Siddharth. I went up to him and I was like, Coach, I think I should compete. Do you think I will be able to? And he said, of course. So I said, okay. So I filled my name, and that's how it started. My first match, I got armbarred both hands.
Uh,
Yeah, so that's how it started. And I realized that the whole 10 minutes of the competition, I don't remember a single thing. I don't even remember like 1 second of it. It was just an adrenaline dump. It, so yeah, that's. I realized I should be like calm in that moment, no, not like try to go all out. And it taught me a lot of things. That's why I love that aspect of competing.
okay. So you competed as well. You competed outside Crosstrain as well. So
Yeah.
what led to the opening of your gym in back in your home state? Like, what was that trigger?
So me and Coach Siddharth, we will always have a talk, just like normal talks about me opening up a center here, and both of us we like didn't really like both of us like kinda were like at least I should be able to like win gold in the nationals or at least be a blue belt before I start all this. So it was always in the back of my head because like I said, the reason was what I just told. So as soon as I won the nationals in 2018, and that year only I started like competing outside India as well with my team, and that's when I got my blue belt also. So then then I started getting a little serious, it's like planning everything with Coach Sid with a lot of people.
Okay, so what was that first step that you took? Like you had that plan in place, you
Yeah.
talked to coach Sid. What was that first step that you take after that?
The first step I took was look for a place actually. So luckily we were like constructing a building. So I told them to at least give me one floor so that I can like, open an academy. So that was the first thing I did. And luckily at that time Rajiv Khati, um, uh, he helped me a lot. So he was also opening a gym in Gurgaon. So luckily, like all I had to do was be with him. Like whatever I wanted to know, he would be there. So that's yeah. First step was that and Rajiv Khatibhai.
Mhm. So what was the reaction from your family, like when they heard that you're opening a gym in your home state?
So they I think in a way they were nervous ki if it'll be successful or not, if people are going to like
Mhm.
react properly or not, and also a bit happy because I was outside for a long time. I was never home. So in a way, I think they wanted me back home as well, and kind of nervous because it was a very new thing in Arunachal.
Okay, so did you have that in the back of your head, like this? There's a lack of awareness about the sport when you open the gym, or like what was the scene in Arunachal when you opened the gym?
So a lot of people were aware of MMA. I think a lot of them used to watch even before I used to watch. So I got really good response. But then you will always find people like I think 80% of the people here they don't know what MMA is still.
Mhm.
So that 80%, it's kind of hard to explain to them as well, because I think here it's always been all the traditional martial arts, and you'd never heard of Muay Thai, you'd never heard of Jiu-Jitsu. So it's still hard sometimes. Like I'll have to sit and explain properly everything. So it's still slowly. I think once we have, I think events here. Once we start having events here, I think that will be create a lot of awareness and maybe even a lot of potential fighters.
Uh, so was that like one of the challenges that you faced, like creating awareness, and were there any other hurdles that you faced while opening the gym?
Um, yeah, there were the main thing was it doesn't it's not really that bad, but
Mm-hmm.
the arrangement of stuff,
Mm-hmm.
like where to keep where, what to keep where, like how to utilize the space properly, all that. And that was, I think, one. And about creating awareness, yeah, I thought I had created enough awareness because I was luckily I was giving interviews in the local scene as well, and then even somehow we got good publicity. So I thought ki people know, and I didn't even like advertise much. I should have retrospectively I should have, but I didn't. So even now people come up to me and they're like, I never knew this was here. And I said, oh, you didn't. I thought I did enough, but I'll have to work on that. Yeah. So it's still an issue. Awareness is still an issue.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
So you probably had your first batch once you opened. So how did that first batch come to you? Like, did they see the news in the local news, or were they your contacts itself?
Okay, so that's a very good question. So even before I opened the gym, during the construction phase only, a few people came up to me and they're like, I heard you're opening an MMA gym. Is this it? I'm like, yes, yes. And then they'd start helping me. So I think three, four people like that, they started helping me even before the gym was completed.
Mm-hmm.
So that's how they wanted, like they were really eager, to start MMA. So they were my first batch. I think around 30, 20, 30 people. They were
Mm-hmm.
my first batch. And luckily, first day, Coach Siddharth also came. So they got to see real Jiu-Jitsu. And
Mm-hmm.
Ning is there. So they got to see real Muay Thai. So the first batch, they performed really good. Still now, I think some of them are helping us take classes. And some of them have won in their debut fights and all. So yeah, first batch is still doing really good. I hope they'll do better next time.
Uh, Okay, so you talked about Ning, and I also seen that Anil Mehta came there,
Yes, and
Punyajit came there. So,
yes.
how important do you think is bringing like experienced fighters like them to create a culture or create the skills?
I think it's the one thing you should not stop doing. Because people get used to what you are teaching them, and what you are teaching them is not even 10% of what is out there.
Mm-hmm.
And everyone has a different style, everyone has a different concept,
Mm-hmm.
and bringing other people with that much experience to the state at this stage where they're just kids now in the sense of learning. So at this stage they're getting to meet these guys, they're getting to see what they've gone through, they're getting to see how they're doing what. So I think it really helps. And Anil Bhaiya and Punyajit and all, Siddharth sir and all, it's like we get to see how fast the students are growing. If they'd been with us for a month and then they just do a camp for a week with them, I can see like 50% more improvement on them. So that's a really good thing. I keep trying to bring new people in. I think, yeah, it's really important. It's the one thing you should not stop doing.
Okay, so from what I understand, like you are very close to Ning Gogoi. So how what's the relationship between you guys, and like how did you come across each other?
Ning is my brother from another mother. So what happened is I think in 2017, I guess, or 18, Anil Bhaiya was going for his world championship in Mexico. So we were helping him, like we were helping Anil Bhaiya train in Delhi. So he had invited Ning from, I think Ning was, I think, in South India somewhere. So he brought in Ning as well, and that's how we met. And we started talking, and I realized he went to college here in Itanagar. I was like,
Mhm.
"Arey, we're from the same place then." So that's how we kept in contact. And every time, like me and Ning, even if he was in Thailand, I was here, we would always be in contact, and we would always be planning on opening a gym here, So yeah.
Okay, so coming to the MMA circuit in Arunachal, we briefly touched upon that. How
Yeah.
do you think it's growing, and like, what's the current state of the whole situation?
So there are actually, I think, a few MMA gyms here now. In Itanagar, though, it's only Abrasumente is here, but in the neighboring cities, in the neighboring towns, sorry, there are a few up and coming gyms,
Mhm.
and I think just one event will like help it spread like a wildfire. So I've been planning on doing events here, and so that more people get to know what MMA is, more people get to train what MMA is, and maybe even make a living out of it someday.
Cool, cool. So, what's your take on the whole MMA as a whole in the Northeast region? So we have
Um,
been seeing a lot of fighters like Roshan is there.
yeah.
There are a lot of people from Nagaland, and of course, you guys are opening up a gym. So how's the growth of MMA in Northeast in general?
It's been amazing to see how noticed MMA is doing. It's like its own subculture in the MMA scene. Like,
Mhm.
you will know like those fights are going to be like fights,
Mhm.
something you'll enjoy. And the thing is, the crowd here I think is also more educated on fighting.
Mhm.
So you get to see lots of people in the crowd. You feel the vibe. You hear screams and all. You feel the vibe. So Northeast MMA is only, it's going to be like so much more. It's going to be something else in the coming few years. Like all the states I'm seeing currently, how they're competing, how they're progressing, and they are on a whole different level now. Only good things ahead for the Northeast and scene.
Okay, so I think shortly after you opened the gym, like the COVID pandemic hit. So
Yeah.
how did that impact the gym and like the whole training that you had?
So yeah, I think after 6 or 7 months of opening, yeah, we had to go into a lockdown.
Mhm.
It did have a big impact on the business because I think we were in lockdown for almost 9 months or 8 months. I mean, our gym was closed for 8 or 9 months. So I didn't like really. Yeah, it was not. I mean, there was no income, so
Mhm.
you couldn't even go out to train. Only you could only like work out at home, and I don't really like working out at home. So
Mhm.
yeah, so I grew fat. I grew fat. Lockdown. That's why after lockdown opened only, like I think the public's the people's more people started to come in. No, I think because
Mhm.
they got more into fitness.
Mhm.
For some reason, I think lockdown made people more aware about fitness. No, so after lockdown, only more people have started coming in, still coming in.
Okay, cool. So you got a gym in place. You got a set of fighters there. What
Yeah.
about your competition career? Like, what's the next plan for you as a competitor?
So yeah, I've been like I had in my head I planned that for 1 year I would at least like not compete and just
Mhm.
bring try to like yeah make teach as many fundamentals as possible.
Mhm.
So then I just started I think competing. I was about to compete in the leverage this time, and
Mhm.
I even reached Delhi and I was training there. But then again lockdown happened in Delhi, so I had to leave and the event got postponed. So yeah, even I still have to compete. I want to compete. I've been planning on going out and try to like find some stuff as well. So as soon as lockdown ends, my yeah, I'll try to compete a little more.
Okay, so what's the future plan for the academy now? Like, do you plan on expanding, or do you uh, plan on creating more fighters? Like, what's the focus currently on the future plans?
Yeah, currently I have not no plans on expanding
Mhm.
because I won't be able to give my full attention to the like
Mhm.
in if there's more. So I want my attention, not only mine, Ning's, everyone who comes, attention and focus on just one place, in just
Mhm.
one place. So that's why I just have one center. Now people have been asking me to expand, but maybe in the future, not now. So because even the fighters they're currently, I think we have 4 or 5 fighters, and they're performing really, really well. Even in the gym, they're performing really well, and they just need a platform now to to like it- for their own experience as well and to grow as well.
Do you want to like have a small introduction of the fighters that you have currently? Like,
Oh yeah, sure, sure, sure. So there's
uh,
we have there's one guy who won last time,
mhm,
Monda Sangno. There's one
mhm,
guy who won again in Bidang. His name is Nisham Wai. Then
mhm,
we have this one girl who won in the thing. ADCC. She won
mhm,
gold. Her name is Jyoti Ryamuk.
mhm,
Then we have Mr. Tejom Jini. Then we
mhm,
have Joel Hamtamen. Yeah,
mhm.
so they are all up and coming fighters. So maybe you'll hear their name again someday.
Soon, soon, hopefully. So
Yeah,
before we close, just have two more questions for you. So the
yeah,
first
sure.
one would be like, what's your take on the growth of MMA in India? Like, where do you see it going in the coming years?
Yeah, so I won't say I've been in the Indian MMA scene for the longest time. I think it's been
Mhm,
six years. I think
mhm,
6 years. So but the thing is, events back then, if you remember, where you used to take place, I don't know at what. Sometimes in a mandir. I think once we had one in a mandir. So seeing that and seeing the events being held now is like is like a day and night difference. So if this is what happened in just 5 6 years, I can't imagine how it'll be in the next 5 6 years. We will have a very good platforms, very good fighters, and yeah, I see Indian MMA to be the next big thing. I won't lie.
Okay, cool, cool. So the last question I had for you, that you are someone that competed nationally and internationally as well. So for
Um,
the upcoming athletes, like what would be an advice that would give from your side?
my advice would be, I'm no one to give advice, please. But still,
Mhm,
my advice would be to like to have an open mindset to learning. If you try to if you want to improve, you should work towards it. Like have proper goals in mind. Each
mhm,
class, each session, have a goal in mind what you want to do, and just keep doing that even if you are getting caught in something else. Don't have so much ego that you don't like want to learn something new and you're just sticking to your old game plan. So always be open to learning something new, and keep competing because there's nothing else. Like nothing else comes close to what you feel when you compete. So train hard and always compete. That's the only thing I'll say.
awesome. So Higio, thanks a lot for taking time out in this
Thank you so much,
weekend
brother.
for this
Thank you.
interview. So looking forward to seeing your fighters in the action and also seeing you in action soon. So hopefully we'll talk soon.
Okay, thank you so much, brother.
Thanks a
Thank you
lot,
so
Higio.
much.
Bye.